What's up, guys? Welcome to The Fight Life, presented by the Solano College Sports Network. I'm your host, Brandon Kyle. Today, we're joined by a man whose hard work and dedication to the sport he loves, the sport of Muay Thai, has changed him not only physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. I'm talking about the man to my right, Big Red, Jon Christensen. Jon, thanks for joining us here today.
My pleasure, man. Happy to be here.
No doubt. Now, I was looking at some pictures of you on Facebook, and you were a pretty big guy growing up. What was your, say your biggest weight when you were?
My max weight was 320.
Ooh,
yeah,
320.
Growing up, I was always the big bone kid. I was always athletic, and I could get by doing stuff, but I've always run on the bigger side, especially just in my belly.
And then, so where do you fight at now? What weight is your weight class?
I fight anywhere between 185 to 195. The next bout that I have coming up is 185.
So 320, and now you fight at 185.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So you're a big kid pretty much all your life. You're growing up. You were always the big guy. When did that start to change? What was it? Was it Muay Thai right away, or is that something you kind of worked your way into?
No, that was something that I had kind of worked my way into. I had done some MMA and some different training stuff, as the UFC came up and being a teenager and doing that. I had friends that trained, and I kind of helped them get ready for some tournaments and do different stuff. But it was nothing ever very serious. And then I was around, I had done different things where it was like some fad diets to try and lose some weight, and the lowest I had ever gotten was right around 250 or so, and then I'd get back up into the 280s, and I was a bartender at the time, so I was a heavy drinker, and I'd go out and party and do stuff and just consume calories. And then on a vacation with my wife up to Seattle, we were going to see my sister-in-law play a soccer game up there. It was like the second or last day of our trip. We were getting ready to kind of pack up and come home, and I was walking our dog out in this parking lot, and then I ended up fainting. I was on the phone talking to my mom, letting my dog go to the bathroom, and then I ended up fainting and kind of waking up, and I had a lump on the back of my head, and I was like, something's off. I got to call my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife. I was like, Mom, I got to go. I got to call Bree, see what's up. Called her. For some reason, I put me and the dog in the car and just kind of laid there and was just like, oh, my head's killing me. She ends up like, hey, you got a big lump. We got to go to the hospital. And at this time, I'm 24, 25. I don't exactly remember when this was. And I got induced into the ER. They didn't know what it was. Had this huge lump. They put an IV in my arm, and it's kind of this long, drawn out, 2-hour-long process. And about 2 hours into the ER, I randomly have a seizure.
Whoa.
And I go what's called going post-ectal. So I pulled out my IV. I was going total blank. I was just like, thought they were going to hurt me. So they put me in a medically induced coma.
Wow.
Long story short, when they finally woke me up from the seizure, they were like, or from the coma, they were like, hey, so we found out you're epileptic. You had about 2 seizures, whatever it was. We did all the scans. You're totally fine. There's no damage done. We don't know what triggered it or what caused it. It was not damage related because you had bumped your head so far before. Got it. And it was just like, they were like, we don't know what caused it. But this one doctor was just like, he said the words, you're morbidly obese. And I was like, I want to say I was like 305, 307, something like that. I was a big dude and not healthy. Like, I could run, but I just wasn't taking care of myself.
Yeah.
I didn't carry my weight in like strength or anything. And my wife got really mad at that, and she was like, you don't say that. And I was kind of like, per body mass
like
index,
one of those,
I am.
It was almost like a look in the mirror moment for you.
Yeah, like
kind of
like look at me, I'm sitting here in a hospital bed, like yeah,
I'm not a healthy person.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like this ring, and it was just like, so I don't ever, and not that it was like a direct thing, but it was just like, I don't want to experience this again. Myself, have to deal with this. It's like, this is reality
scary,
check,
very
dude.
scary.
Like, let's go, man. At any moment, it could happen. It wasn't like I had developed something and I was like so obese that was what got me. It was like this.
You just didn't feel safe.
Yeah, exactly.
So where did Muay Thai come into play then? When on your journey did you really kind of adopt this sport?
That?
Yeah, because it seems like it's the sport that has kept you, got you there and kept you there over the years.
Yeah, the sport Muay Thai in itself has its own different culture and respect and values in it. That's what's really kept me there and wanted me to compete more into it. But since I had already been doing all that, I had been doing some training in like helping other people do different stuff, and I just loved the combat sports as it was. So once I got out of the hospital and I was cleared to kind of do stuff, I changed my diet and I started eating real strict paleo, and I did this thing called the Whole30, which was like a 30-day detox, but I did it for a full 90 days.
Whoa.
And that's where I saw a huge chunk of weight loss. I think I went from that, again, after being out of the hospital, I was bloated a little
300,
bit and stuff like that, so I was like 315-ish, whatever. Came down all the way down. I think I got down into the 220 range within that 3-month period, because it was just like, I was addicted to sugar.
So you like turned around, you turned your whole life around like almost on a dime.
Yeah, I committed. It was like 100%. I was like, it is my diet, because I've been doing exercise and I knew strength training and doing other stuff from playing football in high school and doing different stuff. It's like, we know how to train, man. There's clearly something else missing, and it's what you're putting in your mouth. Was like, no consuming alcohol, none of this, none of that. Like, don't.
So it wasn't as much of the I'm not active. It was just the I'm active, but I'm actively also consuming thousands more calories than I'm burning.
Yeah.
And just couldn't.
So you are never gonna.
So when did you start training Muay Thai? Where how did you discover this sport?
So I was like, while we were taking that trip, I was going to school to try and become an American Sign Language interpreter that I've actually kind of put on hold. But I was moving out to SAC, and I was like, I need to find something to stay active, and I found a gym out there. That was Andy K Muay Thai that later then changed.
Master Andy.
Yeah.
I trained at Muay Thai Lao for about 6 months with Master Andy.
Really?
Before, in the old location. So that's funny.
Yeah.
AK and all those guys.
Yeah.
And Jake and all those guys.
Yeah,
I don't know if they were there. And Aber and all those. Cool.
Dude,
I didn't know that you started with Andy K.
Yeah, so that's I moved out there, and it was just, that was the closest gym to my house, and I was like, I don't care about doing MMA, whatever. I just want to hit a bag. I just want to do some stuff. I want to learn some good technique and stay active while I'm on this like health kick of eating better and stuff. So as the weight was just coming off, I was able to kind of keep it consistent, and then they would ask me to spar to help these guys get ready for some fights. And I was like, absolutely, I love this. This is super fun, and it's only making me better, kind of letting me know where I'm open. And I did that, and then still had no interest in really kind of competing, but it was just like training and doing stuff.
What year is this? I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but
no, it's okay. That's another thing. It's kind of hard for me to remember, like thinking back.
So mid 2005,
no,
2010.
I'm 30, so this was after I'd had my seizure, which is now like 6 years ago. So I was 24, going on 25, and then I moved into SAC.
So it's only been about 5 years then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's been about like 5.5 years that I've been like since starting walking in the door and training there. It's been about like 5.5 or 6 years.
And then how long have you been competing now? What do you like? About 3 years now, 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, something like that. Again, there was a hiatus because I had another.
And then so you go from a 320-pound. Seizure, having epileptic, to competing in last year a World IKF International Kickboxing Federation tournament in Florida, correct? Where you won this bad boy here. Yeah, I guess so. World tournament champion at 180. Was it 185?
It was 198. It's 198. Yeah,
the cruiserweight.
Yeah, I didn't know if we had to weigh in multiple days, and I didn't know.
So you don't want to have to cut weight a bunch of times.
Yeah, I have to do it a bunch of times.
So you go from 320 to the 200-pound, world tournament champion.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, in like 5 years and some change. I mean, it was a lot of hard work, and it's just, honestly, it was just commitment. Like, once I decided that I wanted to do it, and that's kind of been the sticking point along the way. It was like, the process has been ever molding. It's just constantly changing. It's a moving target. And then when you decide that you want something, you just have to commit to it and then be consistent about your plan to do it. And then if you're consistent on it and something doesn't work, at least you've been consistent, so you have track of what you've been doing, and then you can kind of change and do those different things. And that's what I've just been able to. I didn't ever have that as a kid. I was the youngest of five. It's like, that's why I feel like I was raised big bone, where it was just like I had this like really kind of softish upbringing, where it was like I got, it was good. It was
a happy upbringing, but maybe not necessarily the most, you weren't very organized or structured.
Yeah, exactly.
With your
and
with your lifestyle.
It was solid on me. Like, I didn't want to. There was many times where I was told like, you should eat more vegetables, you should do more of this, and it was never a time. And then finally I made the commitment and I did it. And then once the weight stripped off, it was like, okay, what's the next commitment? What's the next goal? Yeah, and it was just one thing after the next.
Stacking up. And then and now the next thing is you're going out to Las Vegas. We're going to take a short commercial break here, and when we come back, we'll talk about Jon's upcoming fight here in Las Vegas. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
If you are interested in a career in sports broadcasting,
whether you're commentating a live game
or hosting your own TV show,
or working behind the scenes, then this is the class for you.
For more information, contact Greg Poff, that's me, at solano.edu.
We hope to see you here next semester, and remember,
It's more than just sports, it's an education.
Guys, to the Fight Life. I'm your host, Brandon Kyle, alongside Jon Christensen. Big John has a fight coming up in Las Vegas, correct? Coming up here at the end of the month.
Yeah, I'm fighting for Triumphant Combat Sports, their 8th installment. I fought for them before. And yeah, it's a great organization. Really, really excited to be fighting downtown in Las Vegas.
Is this your first time fighting
in Vegas?
In Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
You've been to Vegas before,
Yeah,
though.
I've been to Vegas.
So
and
you know what it's all about.
There. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm really excited. This is this is one checklist of getting to fight, at least as an amateur in Vegas. We'll see what goes on.
Yeah,
later
we'll see
in
what
life.
happens. Well, I remember you said you fought for Triumphant in the Bay Area, so it was a local company that now is kind of a local promotion that has grown into Las Vegas and taking you guys from around here with you, huh?
Yeah, it's really been growing. And I was there for the very first one. A really good friend and a couple of training partners of mine were on that card and did really well. And then getting to see how this is just like in the short time, it's just expanded and grown to getting a lot more high-level talent and quality fighters to come out and do it. It's something where I feel honored to be a part of it and to get to keep doing it because it's the best test of your skill, of your personal skill. So I'm really excited to get to fight for the show again.
Yeah, the stage really kind of, gives you the experience too. Yeah. Even though you're an amateur, it's a pro card, so you kind of see how it is to be on a pro card when the lights are really bright.
Yeah,
and
the vibe's different. They're running different stuff. They got cameras. The CSAC or the Nevada State Athletic Commission is there. I mean, they do different stuff, and it's run just a little bit tighter. It's
a little like, oh, this ain't no gymnasium amateur fight here, you know?
Yeah, it's honestly comforting though. Like seeing it run like that, you're being like, dude, I can't. That's the level.
Cool. Yeah.
That's the level.
And then it makes you kind of like, oh, I want to do this. I want to keep doing this for shows like this, right?
Yeah. High quality. Yeah.
Now, tell us a little bit about your opponent. You know who you're fighting. I think you're fighting Chris, right?
Yeah, his name's Chris Hartman. He's fought for Triumphant before. He's a hometown dude out of Las Vegas, so I'm going down into his territory, which is always exciting. He's a little bit shorter than me. I think he's like 5'10" or something like that, which will be different the last couple times.
You've been fighting bigger guys?
Yeah, I've been fighting guys that are like 6'4" plus and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then he seems to have a fight style of stand there and bang, so I think it's going to be
one of those.
It's going to be exciting. Yeah.
And
a fellow Redbeard as well, so this will be...
Oh man, it's a ginger battle.
Yeah.
Oh no,
yeah,
shoot. There could only be one. It's like a Highlander, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you get his power? You cut his beard off and it absorbs into your beard like Highlander afterwards. Okay, very cool, very cool. So, I mean, do you have you been training anything different here? You got any secret, sauce you guys are installing? You don't have to tell me what it is, but how's training going for this camp?
Training's going great. I have some good training partners, a couple other people that are actually going to be fighting on the card as well.
Connor Bracken, right?
Connor Bracken's going to be fighting on there. He's one of my main sparring partners. He's a really good dude to work with.
Dude, I was at your gym in San Francisco, and for Ethan on the last fight doing interviews with him, and I remember I just looked over and I saw you and Connor in that ring, and it's not a big ring.
No, yeah.
It's like you drop a washcloth in there and it's wall-to-wall carpeted. That's how tiny it is. And two big guys like you, and you guys were just banging each other with kicks and punches, and I just remember thinking I couldn't stand 10 seconds in front of either one of these guys, and they're there for round after round just going at it. So I see the way you guys train. I know you're prepared for this fight,
Yeah.
What about the sport in general? I mean, you got this, you won the world tournament last year. You're fighting on a big show that's coming up here at the end of the month. I mean, what are your plans for the sport, and what do you want to do with Muay Thai?
I just want to keep trying to challenge myself with just kind of stepping up that next level, and I feel like continuing to fight for shows like Triumphant and stuff like that, and continuing to do it. I'd like to get more tournaments as an amateur, just to get more experience within any given time. You can see different looks of different people and stuff. I'd really ultimately like some international tournaments as an amateur before going pro, but that is ultimately on my mind, is kind of going pro and seeing how that later down the line would turn out. I don't know timeline as to how that turns out, but I'm always seeking that next level of competition and trying to just keep testing myself and keep raising the bar and just get more and more experience. So,
speaking of tests, is there a fight that sticks out in your mind when you think of, if I were to say, what's your toughest fight, or what was your biggest challenge? is there a specific fight that you can look back in your career and say, oh man, this guy or this circumstances made this fight really tough, but I was able to pull out and persevere?
Made it tough and was able to pull out and persevere. I feel like the Bay Area Challenge, actually, the one that I met Jeff on, the fight at the Clock Tower in Benicia. Jeff is the promoter for the Triumphant.
Oh, for Triumphant Combat Sports, yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I got my way in that. My amateur debut, me and this other guy, we stood toe to toe and we just threw leather. And it was just a really, really good fight. I felt like I had won, and I had done stuff. I got his nose to bloody up a bit, and standing there, I put my hands up at the end. It felt good. It just
felt right.
I don't know what more I could have done, but that's one of those ones where it's just like I look back and I want that fight again. Not necessarily that specific fight again, but it was just like the feeling of that where we were just like, we stood there head to head, and we just, both of us just going, landed some shots and doing different stuff, but it was just like two forces that were trying to meet each other head on, and that one, I don't know why I lost it. It wasn't, like I didn't wear a shot that was like devastatingly big or anything like that. It might have been some kicks or some knees or stuff like that, but it was just like, it was really high pace, high level fight, and I like that one sticks out to me the most. It was my amateur. So
you enjoyed the challenge of that of the fight.
Yeah,
you enjoyed that good scrap.
Yeah. The last couple of guys, and nothing against them, they're fighting their game plan and being longer and stuff, but fighting the longer guy trying to move away. It's just like trying to get that hunt and really having to reach for it and stuff.
You're playing a little more. It's a little bit more chess, a little bit more strategic, but sometimes you just want to hey, draw the line in the sand.
Let's go.
Well, I've seen Chris Hartman fight on the last show, and so I know that I think you might be in store for that fight you've been looking for since that amateur debut here. Yeah. So hopefully, guys, we're going to take a short break, and when we get back, Big John is going to show us a couple of his favorite moves. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Eric Visser. I'm in my 5th year as the athletic director of Solano College. To experience community college and its mission has been an outstanding experience. Solano College has a very rich tradition in intercollegiate athletics dating back to 1947. I'm very proud to communicate that rich tradition is still being continued with fine young men and women that represent Solano College on and off the court. In the fall we have the volleyball program. We have a very successful women's soccer program. We have both men's and women's basketball. And then we transition to 4 programs: baseball, of softball, men's women's tennis, and men's and women's swimming. It is our mission to excel our programs and our student athletes in academics. All of our student athletes are committed to give back to the community. And we would invite you to be a part of Solano College Athletics by visiting our website www.solanoathletics.com, and you feel a warm welcome at Solano.
Welcome back, guys. We are here with Big Red Jon Christensen getting ready for his fight this weekend in Las Vegas. It looks like you brought a little something to the crew here, a little gift.
Yeah, I got some personalized Big Red Victor Valhalla Muay Thai Addict custom-made shorts for you.
Very nice. Thank you. We'll the whole crew will trade off. We'll wear them one day at a time. I appreciate that. So you're going to demonstrate a little Muay Thai here for us. Maybe you could just give the audience at home a little breakdown of what is Muay Thai and what's the difference between Muay Thai, boxing, and kickboxing, karate, those different martial arts they might be more familiar with.
So most people are familiar with boxing, where it's just hands. They don't let you clinch up and you just throw punches at each other, really just striking the body and the head. Then we can progress into kickboxing, where you're allowed to throw punches and kicks, sometimes limiting where you can kick. And then there are different, very specific martial arts like karate, taekwondo. They have their different set of rules. I'm not 100% certain because I haven't ever really studied those or competed in those. And then those all have their very own specific set, and it feels, in my personal opinion, my humble opinion, those all feel like there is relative limitation to it, whereas opposed to Muay Thai, it's known as the art of 8 limbs, where you can throw you can throw punches, kicks, knees, and elbows, striking anywhere in the head, outside of the back of the head, anywhere in the body, and then legs inside and out, as well as they utilize what's called clinch or neck wrestling, where you get in this up-close personal position where sometimes you'll see boxers kind of hug and hang on and it stops the fight. That's almost where Muay Thai starts to get interesting. They'll start throwing elbows, doing different sweeps, setting up different knees, kind of those close range techniques. So it's all encompassing.
So it's really kind of, it's like a full body martial art then. There's really no limits there to what you can strike or how to.
Yeah, unlimited striking.
Unlimited striking, very nice.
Yeah.
So you're going to demonstrate a little. You can throw your gloves on here. I'm going to hold these pads for you. And maybe you can, show us a technique that you've been, working on, getting ready for this fight here, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of my favorite fighters, I am a southpaw, I'm left-handed, which means my right foot is forward, which is not normal. So I kind of have this setup advantage as a southpaw. One of my favorite fighters, his name is Yod Singh Klai, and he fights at the Fairtex camp. And he throws this beautiful lead uppercut, and then he sets it up to a bunch of different techniques off of his left side, whether it be a kick or a knee, depending on the range that he has. And that's just one of my personal favorite things, trying to set up different attacks off my left
uppercut
side.
to the left.
Yeah,
let's see how the kick looks. So you're going to punch here with the uppercut, right?
So it'd be setting up, and I hit this punch. So then from there, I have this kick where I can just fire right into, step right into it, and then just recover, ready to go.
Oh, man, now I see why they call you Big Red. Okay, let's do that a couple times. Let me see it here. Ready?
Absolutely. So it's a setup, boom, drive through, big old kick.
It feels like a 4x4 is going straight. Even through the pads, I can feel the power.
And what's nice is as you're throwing it, when you transfer your weight, if you transfer your weight correctly, I'm bringing all my energy back so that it's loaded up on this side, so then I can just rip right into it. That Yod does really well about it just being big, boom, boom, and he can just step right into it, and that transfer of weight ripping back into it. So
you're kind of like it's a good little energy transfer kinetically, so you can go this, like throw it this way, throw it back that way.
Exactly, and it also keeps my head kind of on that move where I'm coming this way and then I'm coming back that way, trying to keep me elusive so I don't end up getting hit.
Nice. Well, you know what? Let's run a little bit of freestyle pads. I've done a little training. Maybe I could hold some pads for John.
Absolutely.
Let's see if I can hold on. So okay, let me see that jab. Ooh, that one too. How's your switch? That long knee. Hook. Straight. Give me 2 times. Whop. Ooh, how's that switch knee? Show him a little clinch here. How does that look?
Boom, right up in here. Boom. My favorite step. Turn.
Boom.
Get a little sweet, but you gotta be nice to your training partner.
Oh man, I wasn't ready for that.
Right?
Okay, well shoot, let's punch it out here. Hey, let's see that again. Way straight into the knee. 2, 3. Bye, shake. Okay, I think that's about as much time as we have here today. Thank you, Big Red Jon Christensen. He is fighting in Las Vegas June 29th for Triumphant Combat Sports. On behalf of the Solano College Sports Network, I'm Brandon Kyle, and this has been The Fight Life. We'll see you next time.